Hey guys, what's going on? This is another Airsoft Dude 1 production. Today what we're going to be doing is going over different kinds of airsoft grenades, mainly because I've had a lot of people ask me when I say Thunderbee, what do I mean by a Thunderbee? Or when I say an Enola Gay, what do I mean by an Enola Gay? Or, you know, maybe a rocket, or a pea grenade, or a blank fire flash. I've said all these things over the years in my many videos, so I thought now it would be a pretty good opportunity, because I have a little bit of free time after work, to go about showing you a couple different grenades that I have. Now, if you're not familiar with Airsoft, then you're probably not going to make any sense of this. But the first one I'm going to start off with, it's kind of everybody's go-to when they start, like, oh, Airsoft, I'm going to make an RPG. This is a Nerf Vortex Rocket. A lot of fields will allow you to make some sort of an RPG or whatever that will shoot one of these, because they're very accurate. I built an RPG that could shoot one of these, you know, close to 200 yards at about 100 psi and a 2.5-inch PVC barrel with the right voluming and whatnot. You could get these things to go very far. If you build kind of a sabot for the back, it makes it more accurate. You lose a little bit of range. So this is what you'd be considering a rocket or an RPG. Obviously, it's Nerf. I mean, it's not going to do any damage. It doesn't fly super fast, so it wouldn't do any damage if it actually hits you. It mainly for taking out buildings, soft targets, pillboxes, or vehicles of some sort, if your field allows vehicles. So that's kind of a rocket. Now I'm going to talk about two different kinds that I don't personally own. The first being a blank fire, and then the second being a tornado. So a tornado grenade is about the same size as a Thunderbee. In the it looks like a flashbang. In the bottom, you'll put your propane. In the side, you'll speed loader in about 110 BBs. When you pull the pin, they have two different kinds. They have a time delay and an impact grenade. The most readily known is the impact, because once it hits something, it releases the gas, which shoots all the BBs out, but as that's happening, it makes it spin because it's vented, so it spins and shoots BBs everywhere. Those will cost you about $99 each, so they're not really noob friendly. They're fun. They're very quiet, so unless you get hit by a BB or see it coming through or hear it thud the ground, you're not going to hear it go off. A lot of times people think they're dudded when they actually did go off. So I don't really like them. That's why I don't personally have one. So that's a tornado grenade. They're expensive. They work well. They last for a long time, but they don't make a noise really, so people don't always call their hits. Plus, coming out of even if you use a .12 gram BB, they're only gonna be going at maybe 100 feet per second. So they're not very effective. The second one I talked about was a blank fire. Operates almost the exact same way Thunderbee does. You pull the pin and you let the hammer go, and then it has a time delay on it, and then the hammer will swing down on the top and hit a blank fire round. Normally a 9mm bullet. Obviously it doesn't have the bullet, it's just the cartridge. And then the primer going off with maybe a little bit of powder will make a very loud, almost gunshot-like flash. So it's kind of just not a flash grenade, it's a bang, you know, a very loud bang. So those are pretty cool. Those, I don't know how readily available they are in the US, but in the UK and overseas they're much more popular. I have never seen one in game, so that just goes to show how very little popular they are. Guess the next one that I could move on to is a Thunderbee. These are about the most known airsoft grenades, or paintball grenades, I guess you could say. They're designed for airsoft by, I believe, the company's Hitsukatsu or something like that. They're very cheap. A full set will cost you about $30, $35. And then you need to go out and purchase your own CO2 cartridges. So, what a Thunder Bee grenade is quite simply a plastic shell and a 12-gram CO2 cartridge. You put the 12-gram CO2 cartridge in here. You put your cap back on, screw it all down nice and tight. You open this up. Hopefully you would do this first before you load it, but you cock it back, cock the little hammer back. This is why you wouldn't want to load it with your CO2 cartridge first, because you would waste that CO2 cartridge. You put the pin in the first hole, you close your hammer or your spoon, and then you put it in the second hole. I have a very small loop on this because the bigger loops tend to get grabbed easier. Then if you're not going to use it immediately, you can bend the little pin so that it will not go off, or it won't fall out. You put it inside of the shell. You screw this down really nice and tight. Some fields will require you, like CQB City in Stockton, California, they'll require you to fill the contents with dirt or BBs, and they have a container for that. And you fill this up, and when you do that, then it'll count as a grenade. They don't really fly out very hard. Some people put baby powder in there, or baking soda or something like that, so you get a white poof, so it's very obvious. These are very loud. If you go to an airsoft field and you hear a big boom, that's generally what this is. When you pull the pin, operates the same way a real grenade does. It won't fire until you let go of the spoon. You let go of the spoon, the hammer swings up because it's spring-loaded, and a little needle pierces the 12-gram CO2 cartridge, which then will begin to fill this cartridge, or this shell, full of CO2. And then once it finally reaches its breaking point, it'll rupture and make a very loud noise. So, the only problem with these are they're cheaply made, so if you throw them really hard, this cap will break. Over time they wear down, but they're pretty cheap and effective. I own 4 of these, and I love them. You know, they're cheap, they're effective, they're loud. People always call it. But then that really depends on where you go. Another thing is they do become expensive when you have to buy, you know, the shells cost about $1 each. You buy a 12-pack of shells for $10 to $12. Cool, whatever. So I really like these, and that's pretty much it. The next is a pea grenade. Now, these are not very popular in the United States, well, mainly in California, because they won't ship them to California. Not that they're illegal in California, they won't ship them to California. So, what it is imagine a giant match. The top is red because it has like a match strike surface. You take your cap off. They do have wire pull ones, and it pretty much does the same thing, but they're more expensive. You take the cap off, and then you strike it like a match, because this is, you know, like a match head right here. You strike it, sparks will start to come out of it, you huck it, and then in about 8 seconds the thing explodes. The problem with Thunder Bees is it's not really regulated on time, because it's all about air temperature and pressure. So if it's cold outside, it's going to take 15 seconds, so you might want to hold it in your hand for a minute before you throw it. Whereas if it's 110 degrees out, you might get 2 seconds. It really depends on your grenade. So you kind of learn when, where, why. So if you can imagine what this is, imagine an M80, an M80 firework, inside of a paper mache ball. And you can probably hear that noise. You wonder why it's called a pea grenade. Well, they're made for overseas, so they don't spray BBs. They explode and shoot dried peas everywhere. So it's an M80 that you strike like a match head, and boom, and then this, you know, almost paper mache ball will explode. The cap will come off, and those will go everywhere. They're decently loud. Obviously. So like I said, they also do have a wire pull one that's easier than this, but this is cheaper. We did a mass order for MilSim West Kazakh offensives. So I got 4 of these, and I still have one. So oh shit! No!
Wow, this is just a kill house!
I'm just gonna hold on to it because I think it's kind of cool. The very last one that I have in front of you guys is an Enola Gay. An Enola Gay is the most readily available known company that makes smoke grenades. I just have a piece of duct tape over it. This is a blue EG-18. Now the EG-18s are the bigger ones. They have the EG-11 or something. I don't know. But those are much skinnier, and they work the same way. This just puts out more smoke than the other one. So the ones that I threw at Kazakh Offensive were the smaller ones, because this one was in my pack and I didn't realize that I had it. So these are, like I said, Enola Gay. It comes with a little cap that goes on the top. I put a piece of duct tape over it so I can just rip that off, rip the cap off, and then pull the pin. Make sure you pull the pin out, not up, so don't hold it like this because you will burn your hand. So pull the pin straight out. You can see it's just a regular little metal pin. These are not that cheap. They're about, this one is about 15 bucks a pop. The other ones are about $7 if you buy them in a case or you buy them straight from the manufacturer. If you buy them online from anyone else, the small ones will cost you about 15 bucks a pop, and these will cost you about 20 to 25. Then they have other ones that smoke comes out both sides, so they disperse their amount of smoke much faster. It all depends on what you want, and they come in a million different colors. So another type of grenade that is very similar to this style, or it looks like this, but it operates kind of the same way, is a Tactical Game Innovations. It's the company that makes the tags. I did a previous video on those. The grenades that you shoot, and then they either explode or mark or smoke or do a million different things, depending on the ones that you get. So Tactical Game Innovations, they make a grenade that is very similar to the Thunderbeat, but does the exact same thing a pea grenade does. So it looks like a flashbang. It works on a wire pole just like this one, but it explodes everywhere and shoots shrapnel just like one of these. If I can find the video of me at Kazakh Offensive getting blown up by one, I will include it here. Because it was the loudest grenade I've ever heard, and it shoots plastic shards everywhere. Not sharp, but you should be wearing iPro anyways. So guys, thanks for watching. This is my overview of the different kinds of grenades of Airsoft. I'm sure many more will come out, and I'm looking forward to see what other kinds of inventions people come up with for enhancing the sport. So thanks guys for watching. This has been another Airsoft Dude 1 production. I'm out.